welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. We have Dr. Bob Rich with us today, award-winning author, professional grandfather, has done many, many things in this lifetime, and many more things is on his list. And you're quite a philosopher, hailing from Australia, Victoria, Australia. How are you today?
Oh, I'm very well. And I really admire you people in the Northern Hemisphere for being able to walk around upside down.
It takes practice, you know.
Yeah. Well
So,
done. That's not the usual reaction. I get usually, oh.
and you've seen tomorrow before we did, so how is it?
Well, we had a real beautiful thunderstorm last night. It even knocked out the power, but I've got solar panels and the battery, so that came on.
Well, that's good.
And it's beautiful sunshine. We're having an early spring. It's still winter here, but all my fruit trees are in mad blossom. Just
Oh,
beautiful flowers everywhere. Trees are
that's
among my
wonderful.
favorite people.
I know that, and it should be. They give us oxygen. They provide a lot for us, and teach us many things as well.
Trees are sentient beings. They sense their environment and react to it. They communicate with each other. They react against things like if one tree is being attacked by predators, it will warn nearby trees. They cooperate. Their equivalent of the brain appear to be fungal networks underground. There's a fair bit of research on it. There is a researcher, Monica Maglione, I think her name is, who has shown that they respond to classical conditioning, Pavlovian conditioning.
Wow.
So they have memory. So they're people just like us. But maybe a little bit different, but you know.
And you've done a great many things. So you retired, you said 5 times from doing different things, from being a research scientist to being a builder's laborer. You were a psychotherapist. So of all those things that you've done, was there any particular one thing that you liked more, or you liked them all?
Being of benefit to people as a therapist. I mean, nowadays I still do some editing for a number of small publishers and for independent authors, although I'm considering retiring from that too. And there I'm more a teacher than an editor. What my aim is not just to fix this book, but to improve this writer's performance. So it's more a coach.
And you've also authored a great many books, 19, am I correct? And 6 have won awards? When did the writing bug start? When did you figure out that's something that you really had a passion for?
Okay. In 1980, I was busy building my house. It was an adobe house, and I'd invented a new way of making bricks. And there I was in my, I don't know if what you call it in America, gumboots. Does that make sense to you? Tall rubber boots.
High waters, we call them.
Okay. Well, I was stomping around in the mud, and this deputation of teenagers descended on me and kidnapped me. They were playing a boys versus girls soccer game, and they were short of one male. So what could I do? I obediently went with them, didn't bother to change footwear. Predictably, I slipped on the mud and tore a cartilage in my knee, which is not a good idea. Don't do it. I ended up in hospital, bored out of my mind. And so I borrowed the office typewriter and wrote an article for a sort of a self-sufficiency magazine on my method of making mud bricks. And that was, apart from academic writing, that was the first thing.
And you've written about a lot of different things, from science fiction. You also gleaned from your years in psychotherapy. You've done a lot of study on human behavior, and you've written novels. You've written a biography about your mother. Will you tell us just briefly a little bit about that? I'm in the middle. Yes, I'm in the middle of reading this right now, and I'm excited to get to know her a little better and you through this book. And
Yeah.
just give us
Well,
a little, just yes.
this is her at 40 years of age.
Wow. This beautiful woman with a beautiful story and overcame some tremendous challenges in her lifetime.
Yeah, well, we survived the Second War. We were in the ghetto, Hitler's guests. And she used to put me in, I had blonde hair and blue eyes, which is quite unusual in Hungary. Most people have brown hair and brown eyes. So I was an Aryan-looking baby. So middle of February, she sneaked out of the ghetto, took off her yellow star, exposed my blonde hair, and then traded jewelry and stuff for food, went back, traded the food for jewelry, and this way she kept, or whatever else was valuable, what could be traded. And so she kept us alive and a whole heap of other people.
Wow.
It would have taken just one pre-war acquaintance to report her. A lot of courage.
Yes, and to live with the uncertainty each day, we don't understand because we've had the privilege of living in the time that we do. You have a blog and you contribute to it quite frequently, all different topics, things about the earth, things about humanity, people's behavior, people's beliefs. And you explain a lot of things and expound a lot of things in a comfortable way that's easy for people to relate to. And one of the things that you state is about, we want to change the global culture from one of hate to decency, cooperation, and compassion.
We still have a small window of opportunity. If I had a magic wand and I could change the global culture into basically what all the great religions recommend, universal, unconditional love for all living beings, compassion, cooperation, decency, taking long-term view. If every human could switch to that, we could still save things. There would still be suffering, but we would deal with it with compassion.
Do you and your honey love art? Then take a drive to the Goldwell Open Air Museum and enjoy this fantastic sculpture park, open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Experience Nevada's best kept secret and mark your calendars for October 18th through the 20th as we celebrate Goldwell's 40th anniversary. We're located near the ghost town of Bryolite. For more information, visit goldwellmuseum.org.
Oh man, this is such a treat. This is an unbelievable treat. Welcome to the Mental Margarita Show. How you feeling?
Oh, we're wonderful. We're wonderful, putting in that work nonstop like a clock.
I love this. I love you. I love that. I like the outfit too. The style.
Yeah, shout out to Boxwell. You know what I'm saying? Kings and queens wear crowns. Few things to go on.
That's what I'm talking about. So Amber 15, that is the nickname. Summers is in the building. Now, are you hailing from California?
Oh yeah, Bay Area. You got on you repping where I'm from actually.
Hey,
I know I got one of Dade County's finest here with me today.
let's talk about Amber 15 Summers. Second consecutive victory just recently.
Yes, absolutely. On the road to the belt.
Wow. And so this was in Colombia.
Yeah, that's correct. And also fight with Miami team for Team Combat League. So I'm over there repping your city in Miami.
That's something else. Team Combat League. And so you made your debut in May.
Yeah, yeah,
Boxing
with Ring Kings.
with Ring King. Shout out to my
Vanessa.
sister Vanessa in the building. So how did that whole thing start?
Well, also shout out to the Mayweather Boxing Club. I practice here in Las Vegas, and I was putting in work, and I was sitting back waiting on fights to be offered, and then I realized that sometimes you got to go out and get it. So I actually reached out, and I found Vanessa. She was hungry, she was dedicated, and we hit it off with each other. And I went ahead and locked in with her, even though there's plenty of other opportunities once I actually went out there and seek the opportunities. But I was honestly just training and waiting, and that wasn't really working out for me. So I had to go out there and find her, and we came together. We're making it happen.
Now, was boxing a passion from an early beginning, your childhood? Tell me about that.
Yeah, we grew up boxing. We grew up throwing on the gloves in the streets, but business was my passion. Being a social butterfly, I succeeded in business out in LA. I got a really cool company that I started and ran for a long time. And then when I got to Vegas, I was like, you know what, you're close to what you've always been a fan of. There's no need to not just go and do it, because before I didn't know that it was something that you could just go and do. There wasn't really many avenues for women in, boxing that was just readily available and accessible. So I actually cut the fear, put all that to the side, and actually stepped into the gym. I had this skill set also. I was like, I'm too skilled not to put this to use. So we went in and we put in the work.
Wow, you put in the work. Now, being too skilled, was this something that was like a natural thing that you just had? Was it a calling, or was this something that you really developed over time?
Aside from being a longtime fan of boxing, studying the craft, it was a skill set that I always possessed. I just didn't have the avenue, which is why I'm actually advocating for women in sports to, be bold, be fearless, and show that there is an avenue to just go and do it. Because some athletes and women athletes, they don't know that you can, follow your passions and actually push forward and go and do it. Because I was one of those people. I didn't know that it was something that I could do. So I was always just being a spectator, being a fan.
Now, being courageous is one thing, but how did you muster up the courage to say, okay, I'm going to go professional? A lot of people, they want to try to do it, but I know people, they just go to they go to the gym and they just spar. You wanted to go professional.
And here's how that started. I was sparring world champions, and then I was like, okay, that's all I needed to know.
Oh,
and once again, another shout out to the Mayweather Boxing Club for giving me the accessibility to world champions. People from around the world are coming through this world renowned gym. And so once I start touching world champions, like touching them, I was like, okay, this is we're on the road to the belt. Let's go. Let's go pro. And I got the green light from my coaches and from some of the gym management. You have to get that green light. We got the green light. Here we are on the road to the belt.
I was on the pescatarian diet for a very long time, and then seafood, and now I'm seeing food and I'm like, I got to get back to the pescatarian diet. So what are some of the things that you would suggest for someone that wants to get their mind, their body, and their soul right?
The number one food is love. You have to, wake up and step out the house with love and, put that out
Yeah.
there. Make sure you have people putting in love around you. That's really, really important. But also, I was on a Presbyterian diet as well. I don't eat meat, so I make sure that I bring in a lot of, you know, chickpeas, seeded fruits, clean water, lots of juices, you know, a superfood diet, superfood, eating at the right hours, which is also
Uh,
important.
what are those hours?
Oh man, that's a trade secret, but I'll show you some love. Dusk to dawn.
That's to dawn. That's deep. That's
Yeah,
deep. Okay. All right, guys, make a note of this. Make a note. Super fly weight. Now, not only does the gear you got on is super fly, but you or super fly weight. So 115 pounds you're at.
that's correct.
Okay. Now, in that lane specifically, is there anyone that you're looking at? You're a marksman right now. Is there anyone that's got an X on their back right now, or are you just willing to take whoever comes at this point?
More so, we're going towards the belt. That's not really my style. I've never been the call out type. I've always been the show up type.
How do they get in contact with you, Aaron?
Oh, it's live 1-5 everywhere. 1-5 is ONE, the number 5. You can tune in. You can follow us at the Ring Kings Instagram. Vanessa does a great job at posting all of our updates on where we'll be. So check out Ring Kings on Instagram and live 1-5 ONE, the number 5. And check out Mental Margarita. We might come back, show you some love, do a viewing party where we watch some boxing together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a legend in the making. Alonzo Heron Jr. has arrived. And it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the Mental Margarita Show. How you feeling, my brother?
I'm good. I'm glad to be a part of the show.
Oh, man, that's fantastic. Author, executive producer, filmmaker, creator, and a guy that basically started out, trying to make things happen, single father, and you're working for your son. Tell me about that, and tell me the transition from being a father, working a job, I think at the police department.
Yeah, I was a police officer, yeah.
And then transitioning to film.
Yeah. So yeah, basically, 20-something years ago, I, grew up in North New Jersey, coming from, poverty project area. And, a lot of my friends and peers around me was like, basically, they grew up with no fathers, was getting locked up, going to jail, coming back home, selling drugs. And, I did have my father in my life. My father was there. He raised me as well. And basically, I just knew something was more. It was something more to my life than just trying to become a statistic.
Right.
So I wanted more. I wound up having a child. I knew I tried college. College wasn't for me. So I fell in love at a young age and had a child. We had a child, and I basically knew that my life. I wanted to be able to tell my son that we can't do this. I didn't want to be able to tell him that we can't do this. I wanted to be able to provide and just be there as a father. So a good friend of mine who was in the game, he was in the game very heavy. He wound up dying, and before he died, he got killed. He was saying that, Lonzo, I see something a bigger light in you. And he was like, once you become a cop, become a fireman, and growing up in the hood in the projects, they try to deter you. Oh, being a cop, nah, you being the popo or pig. And he said the only thing you need to do is be yourself. Don't let that badge and gun change you. And after his death, that's what I did. I took the test, and I wind up, going to the academy. I divorced his mother, and I took custody of my son, and pretty much I just wanted more. I started investing in real estate at the same time I was a cop. That's how I made a lot of my money. And down the line, I had a friend of mine. He did an independent film, and he wanted me to invest in his project. And then that's when I wrote a book called Living with No Regret. And I said, if I want to invest in any project, I'm investing into my own. And that's what I did. I mean, I never had everything in my life was never planned. I never planned on becoming a police officer. I never planned on becoming a filmmaker. I never planned on becoming an author. It was just something that I seen other people talk about. Because, a lot of people say, I want to do this. And my grandfather, he used to always say, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. And he died without writing that book. So I wanted to fulfill that. I wanted to do that, get that accomplished.
And let's talk about that book, Living with No Regrets. Because, I mean, that's basically how I look at my life. What was the inspiration besides your grandfather not being able to accomplish to write that book? But what was your inspiration in writing that book, and what did that book really entail?
Well, the book entailed, and basically is about four gentlemen from Newark, from poverty, that they all didn't want to become a statistic. One, of course, two of them, one went to jail, one died, one got into politics, and one, he took some bumps and bruises, but he still survived in the game. So I wanted to show people, no matter where you come from, you still have an option, that you still can fulfill the dreams that you want to do. And I was just inspired by another author from Newark named Alsa D. Banks. I just inspired that people use reasons why they can't get to where they at. But the reality is that even when no one believes in you, no one supports you, you have to believe in yourself first.
And you believed in yourself so much that now all of a sudden you're in film production and you make a movie. Now, how is that putting things together? I mean, like, this is new terrain for you, a brand new frontier. What was the learning curve?
Well, the learning curve, for one, not knowing anything about the business, from production side, from camera crew and sound and lighting, not knowing that, I took my bumps and bruises in my first 2-3 films, where you meet people tell you, oh, I could do this, I got this connection, or it's only going to cost you this. But you know how it is, you get into it, you get in bed, and contrast with them, then you find out, oh, that wasn't part of it, or you have to go spend money on that. So I was kind of like all over the place. Didn't know how to scout location, book talent, how many days you're gonna need them for. So my first two, actually my first one, from the second one and on, I kind of pretty much got it together in a way. I had an idea that what it would take, what it needs to get a project done. And from doing that first project, I fell in love. It became a passion for me. It's like, I believe there's a lot of our stories, especially even my experience as a cop coming from the street life, or just even my transition to even believing in God, to the point where those are stories that's not told. You know, everybody
Right.
walks around saying, "Oh, I believe in God. I'm a Christian. I'm believing this, or a Muslim." But you never tell a story how you got there. What was
Right.
the turning point? What did you go through? Was it the
Right.
drug addiction? Was it the prostitution? Was it the gang violence? Or was something substantial that happened to you? Nobody wants to tell a story, and that's what needs to be told. Those are the stories that need to be told.
How do they reach you if there's someone that's willing to invest or want to know what's going on with you? How do they get in contact with you?
Instagram, my page is H Royal Family. On Facebook is Royal Family Films, Alonzo Haran. My number is all over the social media. So anybody want to reach out to me, I'm very open. I'm an open book. My number is 201-463-9780. Again, 201-463-9780. I'm always looking to collab. I'm always looking to build with other people. And definitely, first and foremost, is to give people opportunities. You know, that's what it's about.
Starstruck, here's a sprinkle of the stardust. Hold your champagne glass and your cigars up. See the guys with mob ties drive the cars up. Bright lights, most nights they buy the bars up. Candy coated Chevy cars on the highway. It's Frankie Baby, it's on and this is my way. Dean Martin at the Sands this Friday. With Sammy Davis, here's a little hint where I stay.